Today, we're getting into some really interesting sources you've shared with us. It's all about how things look. Specifically, the graphical elements that make up a visual tone of voice.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. It's like this hidden language in design, isn't it?
Yeah.
Before you even process the words, the colors, the font choices, the pictures, they're already giving you a feeling, a whole personality.
Exactly, a vibe. And that's our goal for this deep dive. Pulling out the key insights from your sources on, well, the big three elements: color, typography, and imagery.
We want to see how each one works on its own, but also, crucially, how they kind of blend together to create that specific visual identity, that tone.
Right, and this is all tailored specifically from the materials you sent over. So think of this as unpacking the visual strategies based purely on that information.
It's like getting a backstage pass to how visual messages are built. Once you start seeing the why behind a color or a font, well, you start seeing everything differently.
Okay, let's do this. Where should we start? I guess the most immediate one, color. It hits you first, right? It's that whole emotional backdrop.
Definitely. Color is foundational, and your sources break it down really well, starting with the basics. They talk about pure color, or hue. That's just the straightforward color itself, like a bright red, a pure blue.
The color wheel basics. Got it.
Yeah. And then it gets interesting when you start modifying that hue. Add white, for instance, and you get a tint.
Okay, tints. So that makes it lighter,
Yeah.
softer.
Exactly. Think about taking a strong, bold blue and adding white. You end up with a sky blue or even a baby blue. It feels gentler, less intense than the original hue.
Right, like tuning red into pink.
Precisely. Then, if you add gray to the hue, you get a tone,
Tone. Okay, gray makes it.
more muted, often more complex, maybe a bit more sophisticated. Think of a vibrant green, add gray, and you might get something like an olive or a sage green. It's less loud, more subtle.
Interesting. So less pure, maybe more nuanced.
You got it. And the last basic modification is adding black, which gives you a shade.
Shade. So darker, obviously.
Yep, darker, richer, sometimes heavier feeling. That bold blue plus black could become a deep navy or midnight blue. Or red plus black gives you burgundy or maroon. You feel the difference in weight compared to the tint.
So hue is the base, tint is lighter, tone is muted, shade is darker. That gives you a whole palette just from one starting color.
It's a way to control the whole feel and nuance. But the sources also stress that color isn't just about isolation, it's about how colors relate to each other. That's where the color wheel comes in again.
Yes, the relationships. The source image shows that turning wheel.
Right. It illustrates things like monochromatic schemes using just one hue, but playing with its tints, tones, and shades. Very cohesive, very subtle often.
And analogous colors, those are the ones side by side on the wheel.
Yeah, like yellows and oranges or blues and greens. They naturally go well together, feel harmonious. Then you have triadic, 3 points equally spaced, which is usually quite vibrant and balanced.
The sources specifically pointed out complementary colors, too. Those are opposites on the wheel, right? Like red and green.
Exactly. Or blue and orange, purple and yellow. Putting them together creates the biggest contrast, makes each color pop. The illustration really shows that opposition. That's where you often get energy, visual excitement.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that split between warm and cool colors.
Mm-hmm.
The sources show the wheel divided, red, orange, yellow on the warm side.
And green, blue, violet on the cool side. And this links directly to feeling. Warm colors, the sources say, tend to evoke excitement, energy, warmth, cheer. They feel more active.
Stimulating, yeah. While the cool colors, blue, green, they're linked more to peace, trust, nature, calm. More soothing, stable feelings.
Which leads us straight into the real core of it. Color psychology. What do these colors mean emotionally? Your sources have that great grid, the 10 color meanings. It's like a quick reference.
Let's pull out a few. Red, excitement, strength, love, energy. Very high impact, right? Demands attention.
Absolutely. Compare that to blue. Trust, peace, loyalty, competence. Almost the opposite feeling. Calm, dependable, stable. Huge difference.
Or take yellow. Creativity, happiness, warmth, cheer. It feels optimistic, sunny, friendly.
Yeah. And then you have black. Formality, dramatic, sophistication, security. Serious, elegant, maybe a bit exclusive. You wouldn't confuse the feeling of yellow with black.
No way. Green is listed as nature, healing, freshness, quality. Very organic, balanced, healthy connotations.
And purple. Royalty, luxury, spirituality, ambition feels a bit more special, maybe imaginative, luxurious.
It's fascinating how ingrained these associations seem to be.
Mm.
And the color emotion guide in the sources takes this further, grouping colors and showing real brands using them.
Yeah, that's where it gets practical. Look at optimism, clarity, warmth, mostly yellows and oranges. The list is huge. Google, Amazon, McDonald's, Subway, UPS, Nikon, Fanta.
Wow, quite a mix of industries, but they all want that feeling. Approachable, positive, maybe easy.
Seems like it. Even if Google uses multiple colors, that warm, friendly base is strong. Amazon's orange smile arrow, warmth, speed, maybe satisfaction.
Then there's trust, strength, which is overwhelmingly blue, HP, IBM, Ford, Visa, NASA, Oreo, Walmart.
So many big, established names, tech, finance, cars, even food brands that want to feel reliable. If you need people to trust you with their money or data, blue seems to be the go-to based on these examples.
It visually signals stability, competence, makes perfect sense.
And peaceful growth, health, lots of green. Whole Foods, Animal Planet, Land Rover, Spotify, Starbucks.
Green feels very tied to nature, wellness, maybe environmental responsibility, or just growth, like the name says. Starbucks green feels very established, doesn't it? Part of their identity.
It really does. It anchors them. Color is just such a powerful shortcut to feeling, and the best comparison your sources provide has to be Calm versus Headspace.
Ah, yes, the meditation apps. Perfect example. Calm uses mostly blue.
Right. And based on the psychology we just discussed, trust, peace, loyalty, competence, that blue palette immediately creates this sense of, well, calm, serenity, trustworthiness. It visually delivers on the app's promise.
It looks like a calm place.
Exactly. But then Headspace, same market, totally different approach. They use yellows and oranges.
So back to the psychology. Yellow is happiness, warmth, cheer. Orange is confidence, sociability.
Put them together, and Headspace feels bright, energetic, maybe more playful, definitely more cheerful than Calm's deep blue. It suggests mindfulness can be accessible, maybe even fun.
So same goal, mindfulness, but totally different moods set just by the primary color choices. Calm feels serene, Headspace feels upbeat.
And it highlights how strategic color is. It's not just decoration. It's a core part of defining the brand's personality and differentiating it, even from direct competitors. It hits you on that subconscious level.
Okay, that's a really solid look at color. But visuals aren't just mood washes. What about the words themselves? Let's get into the second element. Typography, the personality of text.
Absolutely, because the words say one thing, but how they look says something else entirely. And the sources clarify a key distinction first. Typeface versus font, using Roboto as the example.
Right, so typeface is the whole family, like Roboto is the typeface.
Correct. It's the overall design concept. And then a font is a specific member of that family: Roboto Thin, Roboto Bold, Roboto Italic. Each specific weight and style is a font.
Got it. Like the difference between having a toolkit and picking a specific screwdriver.
That's a good analogy. And the sources then categorize the main font styles, which is where the personality really comes in. We've got sans serif, serif, slab serif, display, and script handwriting.
Let's unpack the psychology for each, like we did with color, starting with serif fonts. These are the ones with the little feet, right? The extra strokes.
Yeah, the traditional ones. Think Times New Roman, Garamond. Those weren't shown visually. They're classic examples. The sources link them to authority, grandeur, classic, heritage, established, formal, trustworthy, sophisticated.
So they feel solid, dependable, maybe a bit old school, but in a good way, like a respected institution.
Pretty much. The Sage font image in the sources looks like a good example. It's got those serifs, looks elegant, refined. Bastia is also mentioned as a serif, but described as having a bonus sans. Visually, it looks like it has quite distinct serifs.
Okay, so serif equals traditional, trustworthy, formal. Now, sans serif, sans means without, so no feet.
Correct. Cleaner lines, often more consistent thickness, described as modern, simplified, no nonsense.
And their psychology: clean, modern, engaging, chic, honest, clarity, geometric, universal. Feels much more contemporary.
Definitely. Look at the example shown. Visby Round is called soft serve, which suggests friendliness because of those rounded edges. Audrey is described as elegant and free, showing that sans serifs can still have style and grace, even without the feet.
So sans serif isn't just one feeling either. It can be clean and corporate or friendly or elegant, but generally more modern than serif.
Generally, yes. Then you have slab serif, a subset of serif, but the sources say the serifs are specific slab sections, blunt, angular, or rounded. Think blocky feet. Apparently popular in the 19th century, now used by tech and car brands sometimes.
Interesting. What's their vibe? Confidence, solidity, boldness, innovative, modern, creative, contemporary, friendly, intuitive. That's quite a mix.
It is. They feel sturdy, confident, but maybe with a bit more personality or modern edge than a traditional serif. That Bastia font, with its noticeable, somewhat blocky serifs, could arguably fit here too, giving that bold, confident feel.
Okay, so slab serif is like a bolder, perhaps more modern take on the serif idea. What about script fonts?
These look like handwriting or cursive, often with flowing, connected letters. The sources warn they're tough for reading lots of text, so better for accents, logos.
Makes sense. And their psychology,
Yeah.
femininity, elegance, creativity, personal history, experience. Adds a human touch, maybe?
Exactly. It can feel handcrafted, personal, or just elegant. Looking back at the Sage font image again, while it's fundamentally a serif, some of its letter forms have a certain flourish that might hint at that script-like elegance or personal quality.
And finally, display fonts, the wildcards.
Pretty much. Described as decorative, highly unique, don't fit other categories. Designed purely to grab attention logos, headlines.
And their feeling is quirky, creative, offbeat. They make a statement.
Definitely. So you see, just like color, the font choice injects a huge amount of personality. Are you going for trustworthy and traditional serif? Clean and modern? Sans serif? Bold and confident? Slab serif? Personal and elegant script? Or totally unique display?
Let's bring back Calm and Headspace again. How does their typography fit? Calm's logo looks script-like, doesn't it?
It does. It's flowing, connected, feels handwritten almost. So connecting that to the script psychology, personal, elegant, maybe suggesting a gentle human experience with the app. It feels softer than a blocky font.
It fits with the blue and the serene feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Less corporate, more personal journey.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, Headspace. Their logo is a very clean, simple sans serif.
Which matches the sans serif psychology. Clean, modern, clarity, universal, engaging. It feels straightforward, easy to understand, accessible.
Absolutely. It reinforces their bright colors and friendly illustrations. The whole package feels modern and approachable. The font choice is doing work alongside the color.
See, it's not just the name, it's how the name looks. Calm script feels gentle. Headspace's sans serif feels clear and simple. Reinforces the brand tone perfectly.
Type really does give words a voice, which leads us naturally to the third pillar: imagery, the pictures, the illustrations, the graphics, visual storytelling.
Yeah, this is maybe the most direct way to communicate a feeling or a scene. The sources mainly show us two styles: photography, realistic pictures, and illustration drawn or graphic images.
And again, Calm and Headspace are brilliant contrasting examples. Calm uses photography.
Realistic nature photos, right?
Yeah.
The sources show mountains, lakes, sunsets.
Exactly. Beautiful, serene, expansive landscapes. It instantly evokes peace, tranquility, maybe a sense of awe or escape. The realism makes it feel authentic, like you could actually be there. It directly supports the goal of finding calm.
Makes you feel relaxed just looking at them.
It does. Then Headspace uses illustrations. Totally different.
Abstract, friendly little characters and shapes. Simple style.
Yeah, whimsical, approachable, sometimes even funny. They show characters meditating, sure, but also doing everyday things. It makes mindfulness feel less formal, less intimidating, more like a friendly companion. The style itself feels light and personality-driven.
So one uses majestic real nature to evoke deep calm. The other uses cute, simple drawings to make mindfulness feel friendly and easy. Fundamentally different approaches through imagery.
And both work for their respective brands. It just shows how powerful the style of imagery is, not just the subject matter. Realistic photo versus abstract illustration creates a totally different world.
The beer examples in the sources show this too. Tiger and Heineken.
They use product photography. Crisp shots of the bottle or can, maybe with some condensation, often on a simple background. It's straightforward, clean, focuses entirely on the product you know.
Feels standard, reliable. What you expect from a big beer brand?
Pretty much. It conveys familiarity, maybe quality through clean presentation. Now contrast that with Electric Bear Brewing Co.
Oh yeah, their cans are wild. All those illustrations.
Totally. Detailed, quirky, unique illustrations for every single beer. Characters, scenes, stories, off-leash, steampunk, Baragus. Each one is like a mini piece of art in a very distinct, hand-drawn style.
That immediately signals something different, doesn't it? Craft, creativity, personality. It doesn't feel mass-produced.
Not at all. It feels like there's artistry involved, a story behind the beer. It invites you to look closer, makes the brand feel unique and maybe a bit adventurous or fun. The imagery is the brand personality, almost more than anything else. Way different from just showing the bottle.
Such a huge difference in tone, purely based on the image style. We see this elsewhere too, like the cake examples.
Yeah.
Kim Joy's illustrated cake.
It looks like something out of a fantasy storybook. Whimsical, personal, unique, hand-drawn fox. It's about the artistry and imagination.
Whereas the 80/20 nutrition cake is a photo. Looks delicious, very real. You can almost taste the texture.
Right. That one's focused purely on the food appeal. Realistic, appetizing. One cake feels like art. The other feels like a recipe you want to make right now. Different imagery, different reaction.
And that NYC poster. There are no shortcuts with the eagle.
Interesting mix there. A realistic, powerful eagle image combined with text that looks hand-drawn, maybe a bit rough or urgent.
That combination feels strong, gritty. The eagle gives it weight. The hand-drawn text gives an immediacy, a personal warning maybe.
Yeah, the blend of styles creates a specific, impactful tone. It's not just a slick graphic.
The sources also briefly mentioned Pantry, HP, Apple. Pantry, you assume, uses great food photos, freshness, taste.
And HP and Apple, with taglines about premium quality or showing max in use, likely rely on sleek product photography and aspirational lifestyle shots, showing the tech looking beautiful and integrated into cool settings.
Conveying that premium feel, innovation, ease of use through the style of photography.
Exactly. So whether it's a photo or an illustration, simple or complex, realistic or abstract, the imagery choice is fundamental to the story and the feeling.
Okay, so we've looked deep into color, typography, and imagery on their own. We see how each carries emotional weight and personality. But the real takeaway, the point the sources really hammer home, is putting it all together.
This is absolutely critical. The note in the sources says it perfectly. Don't look at each element individually, but as a whole. How do they work together? The visual tone isn't just one thing, it's the synergy.
The combined effect. Let's revisit calm and headspace one last time with this lens. Calm.
Blue color.
Stress. Plus that script-like logo.
Personal, gentle.
Plus the realistic nature photos.
Serene, natural. See how they all align. The peaceful blue matches the serene photos. The gentle script feels right for a personal, calm experience. The realistic photos ground the tranquil mood. It all works together.
Creating that overall tone. Tranquil, trustworthy, calm. Like a digital sanctuary.
Precisely. Now headspace. Yellow-orange colors. Cheer, warmth. Plus the simple sans serif type.
Clean, accessible.
Plus the quirky illustrations. Friendly, approachable. Again, total harmony. The cheerful colors fit the friendly drawings. The simple font makes it feel accessible, just like the illustrations. The drawings add personality to the warm colors.
Resulting in an overall tone, cheerful, friendly, accessible mindfulness. Like a helpful, optimistic friend.
And that's why, even though they're in the same space, they feel completely different. Their combined visual choices create distinct personalities. One is your serene escape, the other is your friendly guide.
The beer examples, too. Tiger Heineken.
Yeah.
Probably standard colors, bold, functional type, realistic product shots.
Equals established, straightforward, reliable beer. The focus is the product.
Whereas Electric Bear. Vibrant, varied colors, unique illustrative type, detailed, quirky illustrations.
Equals craft, personality, creativity, fun. The focus is the unique experience and story. Every element shouts different.
So it's these combinations, these deliberate choices across all three, color, type, imagery, that answer those questions from the sources. What do you want your audience to feel? How do you want to show yourself?
Exactly. The visual tone is the answer. It's how brands communicate their identity and shape how you feel about them, often before you read a single word of description.
Which makes the idea of using mood boards mentioned in the sources seem really smart. You throw the colors, fonts, image styles together early on to see if they actually create the intended feeling as a whole.
Yeah, it lets you test that synergy. And it connects to that other point about intuition versus study. Sure, some people want a good gut feeling for design.
But understanding why blue feels trustworthy, why a serif font feels formal, why realistic photos feel different from illustrations, that knowledge makes the choices intentional, strategic.
It turns guesswork into deliberate construction of meaning and feeling. You can build the tone you want because you understand the components.
Yeah, it's moving from just liking something to understanding its effect. Powerful stuff.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this deep dive up.
Yeah.
Based on your sources, color really does set that foundational emotional mood. It's the first impression, the gut feeling.
Typography then gives personality to the words themselves, makes them feel trustworthy or modern, elegant or quirky. It's the voice of the text.
And imagery tells the visual story. It provides context, narrative, builds a world, evokes specific aesthetics through photos or illustrations.
And crucially, the magic happens when they all work together. Intentionally chosen color plus typography plus imagery is a distinct, powerful visual tone of voice.
It's the brand's silent language, communicating identity, values, personality, way beyond just the words or the product itself.
Yeah, communicating so much without saying a thing.
It really is.
Well, thank you for sharing these sources with us. This was a really illuminating deep dive into how visual elements shape perception.
Absolutely. It definitely makes you pay more attention to the visual details everywhere.
So here's something for you, our listener, to think about as you go. Based on what we've discussed today from your sources, pick a brand you see all the time. Maybe it's on your coffee cup, your favorite app, a store sign.
Yeah, look closely. How do its colors make you feel? What personality does its font have? What story is its imagery telling, and how is it telling it?
Do these elements work together? Do they create a consistent feeling, a clear tone? What is that brand saying to you visually, even before you read anything? Just start noticing.
Pay attention to that visual tone. It's always communicating something.